Hello, today we're going to show you how to do a titration. First of all, I'm going to rinse out my burette with distilled water. Make sure the tap's closed before you start, otherwise you'll get a nice surprise. Squirt that in the top. And then run it out into a waste beaker. This is really important because you don't know what the last person was using in the burette before you come along. Okay, close the tap and you can throw this away. Next, I'm going to rinse the burette with hydrochloric acid, which is the solution that I'm going to be using in my titration. So, I'm going to use a funnel for this and just tip about 10 mils in the top, 30 mils, and again run that out. Close the tap, and again this can be thrown away. Okay, I'm now going to fill my burette with my hydrochloric acid. First though, I'm going to lower the burette using the clamp so that the zero line on the burette is at my eye level. If you need to, you can pop the whole thing onto a stool and lower it so that you can see clearly. Okay? So I'm going to tip my acid in. I'm going to fill the burette so that it's just above the zero mark. Can you see? Then I'm going to raise the burette very slightly, just so that I can pop a beaker underneath. And I'm going to run out the hydrochloric acid very, very carefully until it's on that zero mark. Okay, take the beaker away. Always remember to take your funnel out of the top, because any drips that are remaining in the funnel can drip into your burette and that can affect your readings. Next I'm going to raise the burette so that I can fit my conical flask underneath and make sure the clamp is done up securely. Okay, now it's you.
Hello. Carrying on with the titrations, I'm now going to pipette some sodium hydroxide into a conical flask, which is what we're going to be titrating the acid into. First of all, I'll take the pipette. So we have the pipette, which is a calibrated 25mm one in this case, with a graduation line halfway along, more than halfway, about 2/3 of the way along. And this is a pipette filler, so we have to insert the pipette into the pipette filler very carefully. To do this, I'm right-handed, I'm holding the pipette filler in my right hand, I'm carefully loosening the little knurled white debris there, holding the glass pipette near the end, the squared off end that you're going to insert in, push it gently for about 1 centimetre in, don't put any lateral force on because they're very easy to break, still holding both. I'm then going to turn the knurled nut. So it's reasonably secure, it doesn't have to be overly tight, and that's it in like that. I'm now going to give it a quick rinse using water first of all. So I'm going to fill by turning the knurled wheel with my thumb, fill it with water to about the line. I'm then going to take this and run it into a waste beaker. You can empty by squeezing the little lever on the side to let air in. Touch it on the side to get the water out. I'm then going to rinse with the solution which we're going to be using, which is sodium hydroxide. So let's return the plunger to the bottom first, and then draw in the sodium hydroxide to about the fill line. You don't want to fill too rapidly, too fast, otherwise potentially you can squirt up liquid into the pipette filler itself. return the plunger down to the bottom, and now I'm going to fill with sodium hydroxide once again to just above the fill line. Gently let out liquid so that the top of the meniscus is on the fill line. It helps if your eye is level with the line. That's about that. And then transfer this to the conical flask. Okay.
Okay, now we're going to titrate our sodium hydroxide with our hydrochloric acid. First of all, I'm going to add a few drops of methyl orange to my sodium hydroxide. This will give a colour change when the solution is neutralised, so we'll be able to see our end point easily. Next I'm going to bring my burette back over with my hydrochloric acid in it, and I'm going to pop a white tile on the bottom and my conical on the top. This is so that I can easily see the colour change in the flask. Okay, to do a titration you need to keep your flask swirling. At the same time you need to allow your solution to come out of your burette. So if you're right-handed, hold your conical flask in the right hand and adjust the tap on your burette using your left hand. This way you can open the tap, keep an eye on the solution and swirl at the same time. Now you're looking for a colour change. Can you see, as I add the acid, you can see a pinky colour forming and then disappearing. When that solution turns pink is when we've reached our end point. For your first titration, you can just do a rough one. See, it's gone pink. Okay. So what I will do, I will take my burette reading and I'll put it in my lab book. So that is 25.6 centimetres cubed. And I know I started at 0.0 centimetres cubed. And then from that I can work out my titer. Okay, now we've done our trial titration, I'm now going to show you how to do an accurate one. I've refilled my burette with hydrochloric acid. I've taken the funnel out of the top and I've written down my initial reading. In this case I'm starting on 0 again. It doesn't have to be on 0. As long as you write down where it is as your initial reading, it doesn't matter. I've put 25 centimetres cubed of sodium hydroxide in the conical flask and 3 or 4 drops of methyl orange. Now I know from my rough titer of 25 mils that I can put around 15-20 mils, no problem. So I'm going to put that in now. And I'm going to stop it at 20 mils and then add it very, very carefully to get an accurate value. You can control the tap to just let a few drops in at a time. It's very, very controllable. And you add small portions until you get your colour change. I'm going to add it very slowly now because I think I'm very close to the end point. Can add dropwise and swirl. That's a bit of a big drop. And you can see it's just starting to turn to the pinky colour. Can you see just changing? So maybe one more drop there. And there we have our end point. And I'm going to write down the final volume, final titer in my lab book. Okay, and then what you will do is you'll repeat that until you get concordant titers. Once you have 2 or 3 concordant titers, you're ready to go on and do your calculations. Enjoy.